Hi everyone, it's Nikki Pike, mortgage broker with TMG The Mortgage Group, and I'm here with my friend Elise Gale from Royal LePage Real Estate. And a few of you may have noticed we tried to do a Facebook Live the other night, and technology was not our friend. So it turned out to be an epic fail.
It had nothing to do with the wine. It was 100% not our fault.
100% technology. We really do feel that the information we were trying to get out to you guys is really, really important. So we thought we would try a different way of getting that information to you over a Zoom call. So here we are. So Elise, should we pick up kind of where we left off and what nobody else saw on this?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's do that. So tell us a little bit, well, I guess let's talk about, maybe let everyone know what the call was supposed to be about. We want to talk about how buying and selling a house has changed during the COVID-19 pandemic. So if we start with the first piece of a home buying process, it's a showing. So how have you found when your clients want to view a house now, what has changed for that process?
So just a lot more care and consideration, right? So the seller kind of, I guess, tells us how they want us to view the property, whether it's wearing, can you see my little girl by? Whether it's wearing gloves, face masks, using hand sanitizer, only having the agent open and close the doors. Lots of sellers are leaving all the lights and doors open so that you don't have to touch as much stuff. And then buyers are really being encouraged to just view the property, exit, and then discuss the property outside of the house. So while you're socially distanced, right? And then we're not allowing obviously you're kind of self-isolated with who you live with, but if you're the person purchasing the home, that's who is allowed in the property. So we're not wanting 2 buyers and 5 other family members or a bunch of kids, or we're just trying to limit the amount of people that are attending showings. And then we're obviously encouraging buyers to really look at the property online prior to wanting to view it, just to narrow down their search. And lots of realtors are posting virtual videos, open houses online, so you can probably see a house more in depth than what you could a month ago.
So it's really only those serious buyers that are actually entering the houses.
Right. Yeah. If that mumble jumble made sense.
It did. It made perfect sense. Yeah. And so are you finding that there are people still wanting to do these showings and wanting to buy a house?
Yeah, actually I don't know what it is, but the last week I feel like stuff is really picking up again. I had one listing, we've had a showing almost every day this week, which was a positive sign in my opinion. But I think people are they've adjusted to what's going on right now. And the people that obviously have to buy, the people that have sold their house or are relocating, those are the people that are currently actively looking.
Yeah, and I would say I've noticed a similar trend. I had a client call earlier in the week and he had just sold or got an offer on his house. So he's out house shopping. I had a client call last night and she found the perfect house. So I'm definitely seeing, yeah, people are still buying and selling in the middle of this, it's really great. I think it shows that, yeah, like you said, we've adapted and we're taking the precautions that we need to, but we're still moving forward.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was going to ask you, how do you think, for number one, how has the process changed for buyers in the qualifying? Are banks more sticky than they were?
Yeah, I would say yes. So on any new application now, pretty much every bank and lender that I work with, they want employment verification upfront. So before, we'd send in the offer to purchase, and then lots of times we'd wait until they'd reviewed the property, and then we'd send in the employment verification. Now they've completely swapped that process. So they want that letter of employment, they want that pay stub, and they generally want 2 years of T4s or notice of assessments to show the previous history as well leading up to this. And they're looking at that first. They're calling employers. I don't know if you just heard that big bang. I hope my child is okay upstairs. I have no idea what that was. But yeah, they're definitely looking and taking those extra steps and phoning the employers. And then once that piece is done, then they're looking to the property and approving it that way. So we've definitely seen that. which is good. I mean, realistically, they have to do that step anyways before COVID-19. So they're just kind of doing
Just
it.
rearranging the process, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice. I mean, there's already been some positives coming out of this in that we've been moving towards electronic signatures for a long time. But of course, mortgage documents, it's, I mean, we have to verify identity. There's lots of pieces that go into that. So we've adapted all of the processes that go along with buying a house. So being able to approve electronic signatures or accept those a lot of the times, appraisals have changed. Appraisers are no longer going into homes. So how they're valuing homes and coming up with those market values has changed, but it's still, we're still doing appraisals. We're still getting those market values. So
yeah, that whole like not entering a house kind of terrifies me, like, because you can't judge a book by its cover, right?
Well, but what they're doing is they have the homeowner do a virtual tour of the house with the appraiser. So whether it's over Zoom like we're doing, I have no idea what she's doing up there. It's just bang, bang. Yeah. So they're doing virtual tours like this so that the appraiser can see the inside of the house to make sure there's no issues.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm impressed with how everyone has adapted and how quickly, right? Because even in the banking world, I was on a Zoom call yesterday with different lenders, and they talked about how thankfully a year ago they went paperless. So the transition to all of their staff working from home was actually quite seamless. Had they not gone paperless a year ago, that transition would not have been seamless.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like we've been moving towards this for a while, and this just sped everything up.
Right. Yeah, I feel like everyone has adapted. Lots of businesses have had to pivot and figure out how they can still run their business remotely, right? Like without having people come into their facility. It's really, I love watching it because I think it's really cool to see those businesses change how they're, right? Like, I mean, no one ever expected this. We've never had a practice run, right? So it's really cool to see.
That's exactly what the lender said. They had done practice runs where they had to close like a Toronto office or a Calgary office. If we think back to the Calgary floods, right, there was a lot of lenders that had head offices in Calgary or offices in Calgary. And so they had done practice runs of closing a office, but never every office. They never thought to practice closing every office. And I think it goes to show, like sometimes we get comfortable and then we need something to push us. And this definitely pushed innovation forward.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
It's also made us adapt to working from home with little ones.
Still adapting.
Still adapting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been interesting, but I feel like we're finally figuring it out this week, so that's good.
It only took us a month, right?
Yeah. Slow learner over here, but
I hear you. Well, I told my daughter, I'm like, hey, mom's going to do a Zoom call. She she's 100% knows what that means. She's like, okay. And she goes, well, I'm going to decorate the house for Easter. It's okay. That's fantastic, honey. Can you do it upstairs? I feel bad, but you do, right?
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else was I going to ask you? The lawyer. I know lawyers always requested that you sign in person, right? So do you know how that has changed?
Yeah, so I think it was April 3rd, the Alberta Law Society came out with a new process, which is amazing. So people can sign documents over again, Zoom or another video platform, and they still the documents still need to be signed with ink on paper. So we call it a wet signature. So wet signatures are still required for land title documents, and a lot of lenders still require that piece from the lawyer. And then there's the ID and the identity verification piece. So originally, the initial adaptation for lawyers was they had been able to sign like this, still pen on paper, and then just send the documents through courier, but they still had to get ID in person. Now they've made it so, and it's still a process. You don't get to just, here's my ID. Like you have to, there's a checklist, so to speak, that the lawyers have to go through to ensure that they are meeting all of those requirements and verifying the identity and that the signatures and everything are what is required. And then, documents are being couriered and it's getting done.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Question for you. What do you think the market is going to do in the net, like right now, for example, when we're seeing less activity in the housing market?
What do I think prices will do, or?
Yeah. Well, I think just in general prices maybe, and just the market in general, like where do you see it landing?
Well, that's $1 million question. I don't think anyone really knows what's going to happen, but like, I mean, there's, like you said, right? There's no supply, there's no demand. Prices are just going to stay even.
Yeah.
And then we've seen that for just the stats comparing March to March 2019. That is just basically even across the board. Listings are down a little bit, but I don't think that we'll be able to truly see what the market has done until April or May, right? And then we'll probably have a better idea of what is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. You said list supply and demand, right? Right now, if there's not supply and there's not demand, then what happens to prices? Well, nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. It'll be interesting what happens when we do return to a semblance of normalcy. If there will be pent-up demand, it'll be interesting to see what happens then.
He's being so quiet. He's like just kind of funny. Yeah.
It's funny. They've
His
had
dad
to
must have.
too, right?
Yeah.
Hard for them.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish I could say what I think the market's going to do, but I do think that once we kind of crawl out of this COVID, I think that there will be like kind of a boom, because there's so many people sitting on the sidelines right now wanting to buy or wanting to sell. And I think that will all start happening. And then there's going to be a lot of people that have to sell after this, right? There's going to be people that have lost their jobs that they're going to have a harder time recovering financially, right? Which is very, very sad.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it'll be a difficult year, really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long COVID-19 is going to last as far as a pandemic and, you know, the how we're living as of right now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I think that our recovery in Alberta is going to take a little bit longer with oil prices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Holy moly, what is she doing up there? Can you hear that?
No, I didn't.
It sounds like she's going to fall through the ceiling and land on my head. Sorry, I thought you could hear that. Yeah, any other questions that you have for me? Questions from your clients or anything?
I don't think so right now. I'm sure I'll have some pop up as I've been getting clients questioning me, and then I always relay, hey Nikki, what do you think of this? So as soon as those start coming in again, I will have to quiz you, because there's so many unknowns about how it's going to change the financing for people, right?
Well, and that's just it. There are a lot of unknowns. And so, you know, when everyone goes back to work, hopefully in a matter of a couple months, you know, I don't know how that's going to look on the financing side. My hope is that, well, people are back to work, so everything just kind of goes back to normal and they go back to their same employer. So there's no lag as far as a probation period or anything. We can just jump right back in.
Right. Yeah.
I think something that Elise and I have talked about that we want to kind of share too is we are getting lots of questions from you guys, from our clients and friends and family. So we want to do regular Zoom calls, and we are offering that we will do those one-on-one with if they have questions and would like to talk to both of us at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you have questions and would like both of us to be on the line at the same time, we can do that with you. And then we'll go from there. Did you hear that?
Did.
Okay. Yeah, lost my train of thought on that one.
But yeah, as far as like buying or selling, if you are considering selling, there's also a lot of financial aspects you need to look at, which I think is good to talk to Nikki about. And then preparing your home for sale as well. I can definitely help with that. So whether it's those kind of questions or purchasing a home, we would love to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, give us a call and we're here. So we'll post our contact info, and thanks for watching if you made it this far. And
yeah.
answered your questions.